7 Sundays more before Christ the King. And you're also aware that the season is changing, and it's a traffic problem again in the villages. One time I was talking to the group. I said, our snowbirds are back. And they said, Father, we are not snowbirds, we are winter residents. So that's an exact polite way of saying. Anyway, the liturgy of the word today, there are two parts in the gospel. First part, these disciples expelling demons and the problem of evil, and the second part, the responsibility of the true followers of Jesus. So we will organize this theme, and this is our opportunity in the first part to go back to the basic doctrine of the Catholic Church on human nature and the problem of evil in the world. We will use the Socratic method of, the style of Socrates, probing questions. He begins with exploratory questions in order to decipher the truth, to reveal the truth. So questions like, if God is good, why is there evil in the world? Where did evil come from? And why is it that there's rampant evil and suffering and pain? Where did all these things come from? If God is a good God, how can He do this? So those are questions that will lead us to unravel the different stages of human nature, and we will discover how evil came into the world. And then second part will be a concrete application of the calling of the followers of Jesus. What is our main calling and responsibility on this planet as being redeemed by Jesus? So, three parts. First, the three stages of human nature. Human nature underwent three basic stages. The first stage, what the theology calls natura pura in Latin, which means pure nature. That was nature that was newly created by God. Nothing evil, because how can a good God create evil? So even we, as human beings, how can you cook something for your family and put something destructive there? You cannot imagine. So when God created the world, everything was behaving according to design, according to order, pure nature. It's like the brand new car coming out of the dealership, right? Smells good, no dent, unless you hit immediately, So it's new, everything behaving, no suffering. Suffering was not part of the design. How can a good, loving God enjoy seeing creation suffer? There was no disease. You don't need to go to the market because there was no hunger. And human mind, no ignorance. The status is like angels, that we, knowledge is perfect knowledge. We don't have to exert effort to attain knowledge. And then no death. It was a kind of elevated matter. The body was in the perfect state of complete health. You don't need eyeglasses. Everything working well, right? So that was the creation, pure, unblemished nature. Then something happened. Angel. It was started by an angel by the name of Lucifer. The name is beautiful. It means bearer of light. He was the most talented of all the angels. He was so good looking. He was closest to God. But then he looked at himself in a mirror, and he cannot accept that he is number two. That he is weaker. That's the essence of pride. Pride is the beginning of trouble. When you cannot accept your weakness, then you pretend and cover it, and then fight City Hall. Declared rebellion against God because he cannot accept that he is lower. He is already good. But then that's the essence of pride. You want to compete because you cannot take that you know what it means to be such, but you are not. So we know this is the essence of pride. We know what it means to be number one, to be the best. But we look at ourselves and we are not. So what do? We pretend, we cover, and we make trouble, we make noise. God cannot be proud because He knows He's number one. Okay? If you are number one, there's no reason to make noise. But when you are not, that's the problem. So that was the problem of Lucifer, declaring rebellion against God, and in order to put man to his side, kind of distorted his thinking, and then that's the temptation. Okay, I was teaching the second graders about first parents during Lent, and there was a coloring book that they have to color. And then it was like, who are our first parents? And the kids, second grade, said, Adam and Eve. Where did they live? They said, oh, they lived in Eden. It's beautiful. It's paradise. What happened? One day, God became so furious because they ate of the fruit of the forbidden tree. And then I said, what happened? And God punished them. And then I said, what did He do? Second grader boy stood up and said, He sent Adam to Brooklyn and Eve to New Jersey. That's where his parents came from. So, not about the place, but he's talking about parents, so that's the first thing that came to his mind. But anyway, it's called natura lapsa, fallen nature. Distortion, destruction of the order. Adam and Eve did something they cannot repair because they distorted the order, destroyed creation. Then evil came. It opened the doors to illness, ignorance, violence, and all kinds of death came into the world, destroying the order of God. So, there is trouble in creation, and it has to be repaired. It has to be. So, back to square one. God planned repair, reconstruction of a fallen creation because of rebellion and pride. And square one, get back to the drawing board. Second chapter of Genesis, God planned. He was talking about a young woman who is a virgin, who will give birth. When he was talking to the serpent, he said, he will step on your head, that woman, but you will bite his heel. The son of that woman you will kill. And then, history of salvation started with the 12th chapter of Genesis, from Abraham up to the Annunciation. The plan of salvation, redeemed. So what is that? In my former assignment, there are a lot of orange groves, citrus, Florida Natural, and all those Tropicana. They have all their plant there, and in Polk County, and the oranges, citrus. When the worst thing that could happen to your grove is when it is infected by fungus, the worst fungus that really eats the tree from inside, is what you call canker fungus. When one tree is affected by that, they have to kill 5-mile radius of all the orange trees. So to contain the epidemic and to protect the industry. They have to cut off all the trees. So, to prevent. In order to repair creation, it was not necessary that everybody will be killed. Okay? Only one. One will give up his life to die for all and reconstruct nature. The Son of God, Jesus, will die on the cross, and there, lifting up the whole creation, opening heaven, giving again access to God. It was done by one man. Adam destroyed the whole creation. One man restored it in Jesus. That was the role of Jesus. Redeemed nature, natura redempta, dying for all. That's the job of the Messiah. And then he left the church. He gave us the church, providing all access. When we are infected by the fungus of sin, we have somewhere to go. The Eucharist is our spiritual nourishment that will strengthen us against the power of sin. When we are infected by sin, our soul, we have the reconciliation and the other sacraments. He left us the church and the sacraments to be our relief when we are affected by evil and sin. That's the official Catholic doctrine of the church. And redeemed nature. So what is the responsibility? Our responsibility that now we are redeemed by Jesus. Jesus came to the world to reconstruct the world, to lift it up, to repair it. We who are followers of Jesus have an important calling while we are alive here. We have a mission here because we were redeemed by Jesus. We have to respond to this wonderful revelation of the mercy of God for us. And so, our main mission, I will just enumerate some points here, is to make this world a better place. That is our mission, our calling. Jesus redeemed us. While we are here, make this place a better world, a happier world. Number one, harm no one. Do not harm anybody. Do not injure anybody. Do not hurt anybody. Do not start a fight, especially if you can finish it. Okay? When your spouse raises her voice, don't answer. Go to the lanai and eat chocolate. Don't start a fight. When it's put it off immediately. You know, because it's like fire. It will burn you. You know, retaliation and all this is happening to the world. It's eating up creation. Violence. Don't harm anybody. Profound respect for creation and people. That is number one. Second, explore the world. It's a beautiful world. The outer world, you know, look around and see the magic of creation, the artistry of God. Appreciate creation. Explore the world. Some of you go travel, you know, see new cultures, learn. It's a wonderful, beautiful world. But not just the outer world. The inner world has a lot too. You know, the world of silence, the power of the brain, you know, the adventure of the tremendous capacity of the brain, especially the sense of imagination, that we have the power to retain images, we have the power to combine these images and come up with new things, the power of the brain to discover new skills, new ways of doing things. This is the foundation of innovation and research and everything that we have here in the world. That's all coming from the potential, the almost infinite power of the human brain. There's a lot there. And also the spirit. meditation and prayer. There's a lot of wealth in the inner world that we have to explore, that we can find peace. For example, you sit down and take deep breath for 15 minutes. It will lower your blood pressure, right? I've tried that, the silence and the inhaling oxygen, and quiet is also healthy for the body. But there's a lot of world to be explored inside. Third, to make this world a better place is create opportunities for people, especially those less blessed. Create people to learn, education, ways for people to fellowship, to connect, to work for peace, to create skills, sponsor a program that will help people discover new ways of doing things. There's a lot of opportunities that we can create for everybody, making the world a better place. And then, fourth is sense of humor. Okay, we have to have sense of humor because people are always grouchy and complaining, especially in all kinds of parking lots, in the market, anywhere. People are always serious and angry. There's a lot of temper. So, sense of humor, and if you're looking for humor, look no further. Look at conversational English language. The way we speak now, it has evolved, and people are using complicated words. And the more complicated they become, the more vague and funny they sound. And there's a lot of humor in language. I was talking to a lady. I said, "What's your job?" And she said, "I am an administrative assistant." I said, "What's that?" And she said, "I work in the office." A janitor is an administrative assistant who works in the office. He said, "No, I'm not a janitor. I'm a clerk." What's wrong with the word clerk? One syllable versus 8. See, and vague, right? So, a pest control man visited the house of a client, and he told the homeowner, "In order to ascertain the condition of your exterior, I have to take a cursory look at your subterranean substructure," which means that it's going to crawl under the house. The language is, do you notice that they don't use the word ugly anymore? They call it acute appearance deficit. That's ugly. The language is funny. Why don't you stick to simple, straightforward English? So, then the last to make the world a better place, leave a legacy. While you are here on earth, create something so that the people who will follow you, when they think about you, they will smile because you did something. Create a legacy for others. Leave your print so they will remember you. These are the things that may sound, but we have a responsibility as redeemed nature to make this world a better place, because that's our way of saying thank you to Jesus who redeemed us.